Hello, oral health professionals. I am Dr. Putaya, and I welcome you to our educational site, www.dentalsafety.in. Dental Safety Net is an educational wing of Managed Care Concept LLC, Houston, USA, and provides continuing education either online or in other digital formats. We have specifically developed and oriented these modules for South Asia, Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Africa. These programs are free to view and certain items to download without charge. You only need to pay if you plan to get continuing dental education credits. In India, these programs are offered through locally registered professional bodies or groups in dentistry. Mandatory continuing dental education requirements for India in dental safety. This program is designed to address the annual infection control continuing dental education requirement as mandated by the Dental Council of India. 4 hours of CDE in dental safety is required per year for dental license renewal. After completion of the review and satisfactory test results, a certificate of completion will be provided by email. This completion certificate must be provided to your state's dental council office on an annual basis to keep your license up to date. Our programs include the following as seen on the website www.dentalsafety.in. There are 9 full-length infection control modules, 12 short aseptic technique videos, reading and prescribed documents and understanding the practical applications of dental safety. We have also provided these modules on iPhones and smartphones by downloading onto your computer and syncing it to your handheld devices. There are 9 practical modules on dental infection control. Each of these programs have narration and animation and are easy to use through the click of a button. Most of the modules are also backed up with short videos on aseptic techniques that need to be reviewed in conjunction with the lecture modules. After reviewing the modules, the videos and infection control manual, one may take tests electronically and obtain up to 6 hours of recognized continuing dental education credits for India in dental infection control and safety. These are the 12 short aseptic technique videos and run on Windows Media Player. That is a free download from Microsoft, or they can be played on most media software already existing in most computers. These videos are on hand care, personal protective equipment, surface disinfection, impression disinfection, use of barriers, breaking down of barriers, instrument reprocessing, and maintenance of suction lines. These are the 3 PDF documents provided in the literature background for understanding dental safety. The first one is a short digital textbook that is specific to oral health professionals of India, authored by prominent dentists and specialists from within India and from other countries. And this book was published by the Dental Council of India. The other 2 documents are guidelines and recommendations on dental infection control and safety that are being used in the United States. These documents collectively provide comprehensive information on dental safety. We have also developed complete modules for the Apple iPhone or iPods and for other smartphones such as BlackBerry. You can click on the images below to download zipped files onto your computer and then transfer unzipped files onto your handheld devices by synchronizing your handheld. These files are specific to the type of phone you use and are not interchangeable. As of today, a comprehensive program in dental safety includes understanding a vast array of information, performing multiple clinical tasks or techniques, and conducting quality assurance. Infectious diseases have changed the course of history in many parts of the world. For example, in the Americas and specifically in the United States, the second language is Spanish. When Hernan Cortes and his conquistadors came to Mexico City, or otherwise called Tenochtitlan, it is said that they could have been the source of smallpox exposure to the Aztecs. In dentistry, we come across both blood-borne diseases and those spread through close contact or even through aerosols and droplets. While considering the epidemiology or the macro perspective of common infectious diseases, human immunodeficiency virus infection is among the most commonly feared diseases. Estimates state a prevalence of over 1 million cases in the United States, with only about 1/4 knowing their HIV serostatus. Hepatitis in relation to hepatitis C virus infection is the next most feared condition by healthcare providers. The spread of diseases can be rapid if diseases are not understood and control measures not implemented. For example, in 1983, there were a cumulative of 1,000 HIV cases scattered only in the metropolitan areas of a few cities in the United States. In 1985, there were over 10,000 diagnosed cases, and more so in the metropolitan areas. In 1989, there were over 100,000 cases of HIV, and in 1994, over 440,000 cases. And this time, the spread included both metropolitan areas and second-tier cities. Today, HIV is under control in most medically advanced countries due to infection control measures, while it is still on the rise in Asia and Africa. On a micro perspective, or as seen by individual clinicians during dental practice, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, herpes, HIV, infectious mononucleosis, syphilis, and gonorrhea are some of the common sexually transmitted diseases. Respiratory diseases such as viral and bacterial upper respiratory tract infections, diphtheria, tuberculosis are also commonly seen in clinical practice. Not only does one have to understand and recognize the disease processes, but one has to also apply control measures to reduce the risk of transmission of these diseases. Given the information on infectious diseases and other risks, the clinical arena should be considered a potentially hazardous place. Dentistry is predominantly a surgical field where the healthcare provider is constantly exposed to saliva and blood and potentially to bloodborne pathogens. There is a risk of cross-contamination where the patient may be at risk if proper precautions are not taken. There is a potential for sharps injuries, exposures to chemicals, dust, and mist, including bioaerosols, in the clinic. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, are barriers that protect the employee from hazards such as bloodborne pathogens. Bloodborne pathogens include blood, saliva, other body fluids, and tissues. They are also used to protect the employee against chemical hazards such as disinfectants or sterilant, ultrasonic solutions, acids used in etching teeth, and acrylic monomer. Chemical germicides in dentistry range from antiseptics to sterilites. It is important to have adequate knowledge of these chemicals, their claims, their efficacy, and compatibility before being used in the dental clinic. Disinfection of impressions should be done immediately at chairside. We rinse the impression thoroughly under running water to remove saliva, then spray an adequate amount of disinfectant, wait for the disinfection time, and rinse the impression again under flowing water to remove the disinfectant before pouring a cast or shipping the impression to a laboratory. In the absence of using single-use disposable barriers for clinical surfaces between patients, we spray the surface with a disinfectant, clean the surface by wiping with a disposable paper towel, and finally spray the surface again to disinfect and leave the disinfectant on the surface for a given TB kill. The subject of instrument reprocessing includes cleaning of instruments, bagging of instruments, sterilization of instruments, storage of instruments, and monitoring or validation of the sterilization process. Common methods of sterilization in dental clinics are dry heat sterilization, autoclaving, or sterilization using a chemiclave. Autoclaves use steam and pressure, while chemiclaves use chemical mixture, pressure, and heat. Autoclaves are very efficient but can cause some amount of corrosion and dulling of high-carbon steel instruments. Chemiclaves are also efficient but do not cause corrosion or dulling of high-carbon steel instruments. Apart from bloodborne diseases and airborne diseases, the recent ADA and the CDC guidelines require dental treatment water to be at least of drinking quality. Many research studies have shown that environmental biofilms, commonly known as slime, builds up within the dental unit water system, thereby increasing the microbial contamination in dental treatment water. The problem is very severe because the contamination levels in the dental treatment water coming out of the handpieces, air water syringes, and scalers are commonly more than 1 million colony-forming units per milliliter, and the types of microbes being potentially pathogenic gram-negative rods. The information being provided in these infection control and safety programs are from state-of-the-art and well-accepted sources such as the Centers for Disease Control recommendations and guidelines for dental infection control, OSHA standards or rules, textbooks and peer-reviewed journal articles written by pioneers and experts in infection control and safety, current applied and clinical research abstracts in infection control, epidemiology, material sciences, and from infection control organizations. The author of these programs is a dentist and a tenured associate professor with an advanced training in epidemiology and public health, and was also the first Johnson & Johnson Medical Incorporated postdoctoral fellow in infectious disease control and dentistry in the United States. He has provided educational programs worldwide and has crafted the dental infection control and safety recommendations for India. Once again, we at Dental Safety Net, the educational wing of Managed Care Concept, thank you for your time. We hope that you will put the knowledge acquired into good clinical practice. Our hope is to provide low-cost quality information in future on very useful fields of safety in dental care, and these fields are HIV, AIDS, and common infectious diseases, dental jurisprudence, online education on basic life support, medical emergencies in the dental office, pharmacology, oral and maxillofacial radiology, oral medicine and pathology, public health dentistry and health education, and finally, community education in health safety. Thank you.